Now is Nathan Marcus. He owns 3 concession stands that were catering last night's country music festival and was there when the shooting started. Nathan, thank you so much for joining us. First of all, tell us where you were in proximity to the stage and what you were doing when you first heard shots break out.
Well, I would say if you're facing the stage, I was left maybe about 40 yards from the stage maybe. And we were just going through, checking on our location, making sure everything was good. As the event was coming to an end, it was a good festival up to that point. And we're just making sure all the employees are getting ready for the end of the event when it happened.
Nathan, we spoke with other people who were there in attendance, and they said that first responders, when they came to the scene, and others that were there on the scene as well, they were helping people jump over hot stoves, and I'm assuming that you had that at your concession as well. Can you talk about the frantic scene and helping the injured?
Yeah, it was pretty frantic, as you said. I mean, there's really no, set plan for something like that. I would say, the entrances and exits are not, designed or meant to probably be dealt with that kind of a rush. I mean, from what I understand, there was roughly 25,000 people in attendance that night. And just think of trying to get 1,000 people out of a single door. I mean, it was much bigger than a door, but there's also much more people than 1,000 people. And almost everybody seemed to be trying to head to the same exit. So as you could guess, you couldn't get out. So people were trying to hop the fence, and a lot of people could not hop the fence because the fences are high to prevent people from hopping into the event, So we were trying to help people get over the fence, but as the firing was coming and people were getting shot next to you and stuff, you can't really stay there and help some people, and that's when I decided to flee the scene and hop on over, as I was trying to help people as well.
Yeah, the shooting appears to be so random. There were a lot of people, as you know, that did not survive. Did you see people who had been hurt in this attack?
Yeah, most definitely.
What did you see?
Well, I seen last night, original reports were that 2 people had passed away, and I knew for a fact, seeing firsthand, that was very shy of what, actually happened. Still at 50, I feel 50 is quite low. I hope that's a more accurate number, but I feel that is still probably low from what we're going to see. I wonder if that's 50 that made it to the hospital and not counting maybe who's at the scene still.
Yeah, unfortunately, you might be right with that number. We're all worried about what the final number may be. When did you realize that this was shooting? We heard people say it sounded like a helicopter, it sounded like fireworks, it sounded like a truck backfiring. When did you realize we have a major, serious situation here?
Well, like I said initially, if you think back, if I think back on it, it definitely sounded like, gunshots from the beginning, but I would say you don't think about those things, so you kind of don't even acknowledge it. Like, we were in there working, and I'm checking on one of my locations, and as you hear it, you're not really acknowledging it because it's very loud. You're at a concert with 30,000 people. There's all kinds of noises, and I would say after the first initial break, it sounded like at least 50 shots rang continuously to start. Mm-hmm. And then there was a break, and then that's kind of when the stage went dark, kind of. Maybe there was another round, I want to say, before actually the stage went dark. But the second round was not steady like the first round was. There was kind of some breaks, and I think that's when everybody, it hit them what was going on, because you could tell after that there was breaks, and it wasn't just a solid string of fire.
Mm-hmm. Nathan, we have a picture of you that you sent us. Tell us what's going on in this picture.
I don't know what...
It's a picture of pants. Are those your pants?
Oh, yes. That's a gentleman that was shot directly to my right. And I guess you would say, some spray from him had got on me. And it was a bad scene. A lot of people fleeing, some people, there was elderly people, there was children, it was, all ages were there probably, and I feel for the families and stuff. Initially, I didn't want to speak about it, but I felt like the families that are still trying to piece things together, they should know more of like what was happening on the grounds of what really happened.
How old are you, Nathan, and how are you talking about families piecing it together? How are you piecing it together as someone who survived? First, tell us, how old are you?
Just turned 30 about a week ago, and I mean, for me, I'm all right with it. I never had to deal with anything like this, obviously, as I think it's kind of unprecedented. But you know, being a business owner, you have to deal with a lot of different struggles and objects and hurdles, and you kind of just have to weather, you know, storms. So that's kind of like how I'm dealing with it. I think maybe after a couple of days, I'll sit down and think about it. I had, you know, over 40 employees there I was worried about, and you know, we couldn't get in contact about them. I didn't know where they were. I have lifelong friends that are managers of mine I was worried about as well. Did
all your employees make it?
As far as we know, I've been in contact with, I want to say, almost every single one of them, and the ones that haven't, I've heard news that they did. So I'm very fortunate to say that I think that all of our employees made it out safe.
Nathan, what is the police presence at events like this on the south end of the Strip there, in this area where the festival took place? What's the typical police presence before something like this happens?
Like before it happened, or,
yeah,
or after it happened?
Before.
Well, I would say for the event, they're definitely staffed accordingly. I mean, like you said, you can't prepare for something like this. This is, as I mentioned, kind of unprecedented time we're in right now. So I don't think there's no way you can plan for this. But they have hundreds of security on staff. You know, I'm sure they probably do it per cap, like per amount of people, but there's definitely hundreds of security, as well as police officers and they have undercover police officers and stuff to try to keep the peace, which typically at these events you don't see any problems for the most part. But, I mean, for something like this, obviously they were very short-staffed, I would say, maybe for that. But, I mean, they did a very good job to get, the place exited. I mean, you think it loads in fast because everybody's running to get good seats and stuff, but this place exited 30,000 people probably in a matter of 10 minutes.
All right, Nathan, thank you so much. I can only imagine. I actually can't imagine what this is like for you. I really appreciate you taking the time. It's a very traumatic time for you, but we're all glad to hear that you were safe. Nathan Marcus is who we were just talking to. He's owner of one of the 3 concessions that were catering the event that night at the Country Music Festival.